Hey guys, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Revolver X4s on the 2023 Ford Super Duty. The tools I'll be using for this installation are a ratchet with a 9/16 socket and scissors. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to do is install our bulkhead seal. Now before we do that, we want to make sure we have a very clean bulkhead to give a good surface for that adhesive to bond to. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean it off with some isopropyl alcohol. Just regular rubbing alcohol will work. This is 91%, that's what I recommend. But we're just going to wipe off the surface. What that does is that removes any kind of residue, any kind of wax buildup from car wash stuff, anything like that. That gives you just paint to bond to. Next, we're going to find our bulkhead seal in our kit. Now, where we are going to install this bulkhead is all the way to the inside of the bed on top of the bulkhead. So the furthest part away from the cab on top of that bulkhead, we're going to go all the way from one bed cap to the other bed cap right along that line. So I'm going to take our bulkhead seal and I'll peel away a little bit of the protector. And then push it all the way up against the bed cap. And when we get it to the other side, we're just going to cut it in place with some scissors. All right, now we can go ahead and move to our rails. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the driver's side rail. Now, up at the front of the rail, you'll notice we've got a silver aluminum tab that comes off. That goes to the front side. The back side has a paddle. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift this rail up, and it's actually going to hang onto the bed cap, just like so. Then we also want to make sure this goes all the way up to the bulkhead. Now, when we do that, we want to make sure this pad touches the bulkhead. So I have a bed rug here, so what we're going to do is we're going to peel that down and then slide the rail forward all the way up to where it hits the bulkhead. And then the bed rug can go right back in place. Now what we're going to do is find one of our clamps. Now the grooves on the clamp need to mate into the grooves in the rail. We're going to slide that clamp forward. We want that to be within about 9 inches of the bulkhead. And then we're going to tighten it down by hand first, and then take a 9/16 wrench and get it kind of just snug. We want to make sure we seat the rail properly at the top. So just give it a nice pat on the top. That'll seat the rail. Then we can go ahead and finish tightening it down with that 9/16. All right, next we're going to take our strap clamp. That obviously is the clamp that has a strap attached to it. We're going to spread that one apart, put that one right next to our front clamp. And that installs the same way, you just have a strap hanging down from it. This one is not necessarily going to support any of the weight. This is just to hold a strap in place. All right, don't over tighten these clamps, just get them nice and snug. Let's go ahead and go back to the center clamp. Now about midway in the bed, we're going to install the center clamp. Make sure that you feel up underneath the bed cap to see if there's any kind of obstructions. You don't want to try to put the clamp where there's an obstruction of something hanging down. So I'm going to go a little bit behind that. On this particular bed, we've got something kind of protrudes down right up in here. So I'm going to slide the clamp up in place. And again, just get it nice and snug, finger tight. Then take our 9/16 and get a little bit more snug, seat it up the top, and then tighten it down the rest of the way. And let's move to the rear clamp. Now at the back, we want to make sure that we're fairly close to the tailgate as well. Again, reach up inside and see if there's any kind of obstructions. This particular bed, we've got something hanging down right here, so we're going to go right in front of it. The clamp up into the rail. And again, just like we did before, tighten it hand tight. All right. nice and snug. Go ahead and seat it from the top. And then go ahead and tighten it all the rest of the way back down with the 9/16. Now repeat that same process for the opposite side, and then we're ready for the cover. All right, now with both of our rails installed, we can go ahead and take the cover out of the box and set it onto the rails. Now I'm gonna set it close to the tailgate here because when it comes out of the box, it's gonna be reverse rolled. That's actually to kind of protect it in transit. So now with it on the rails, I'm gonna kind of roll it back. We don't have to get it exactly lined up just yet. So I'm gonna start rolling this forward. And as I roll that forward, I'm gonna roll the tailgate portion forward to where it's not reverse rolled anymore. We'll roll this all the way up to the bulkhead. All right, and once we get to the bulkhead, we're gonna find the final panel on the cover. You'll notice on this panel, we've got 2 slots that go side to side on it. That's for the hardware we're gonna put in. We've got 4 bolts in our kit. I've already installed the 2 on the driver's side. Now I'm gonna go ahead and install the 2 on the passenger side. So we're gonna go ahead and slide these bolts in. Now it's easier to get the bolts in if you kind of push down on the seal to make room for the bolt to slide in. And what we want to do is slide these bolts over so that they line up to these oval holes. So they drop down into those oval holes. What we're going to do now is take our hardware. We've got a flat washer that is rubber, and then a metal flat washer, and then a star knob that's going to go in place. We don't want to tighten this up just yet. We just want to get it connected, and we're going to make adjustments to the cover before we actually tighten it down. So we don't want it to drag on that hardware. We're also going to do the same thing on this one here. Rubber washer, flat washer, and then star knob. And again, we want that stuff to be able to move around. So don't tighten it up just yet. Do the same process for the other side, and then we can go ahead and adjust the cover. All right, now that we've got all of our hardware attached underneath, we're gonna go ahead and roll the cover back towards the tailgate. Now, as we go, all these plastic tabs, we wanna make sure they drop down in the rail and are nice and centered. So we're just gonna bring it back. Once we get to the tailgate, we're gonna adjust the alignment back here. All right, and when we bring it back to the back, this is not quite far forward enough because this needs to actually drop inside of this slot. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide that forward. And there we go, it locks in. We're going to adjust it back just a little bit so it's even on both sides. Also make sure that you can pull the latch, and it latches on both sides and unlatches on both sides freely. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our hardware at the front. Now you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either pull the latch and gently roll it up to the front and just be really careful not to shift the cover. Or one thing that I like to do sometimes is just climb into the bed of the truck. That way I guarantee that I'm not moving the cover around at all. That sets everything in position once I tighten everything down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and roll the cover forward towards the cab of the truck so we can attach the rubber bumpers to protect the cab. All right, now when you roll the cover forward, if the cover is nice and tight, it will never actually contact the cab of the truck. However, if that cover is a little bit loose, then it will contact the cab. So what we're going to do is protect the cab by installing some rubber bumpers. So what we're going to do is roll it forward and see where it would contact. So it would contact here and here. So that's where we're going to attach rubber bumpers. So take a look at where the contact point would be and go out to the side. We've got 4 bumpers, so we're going to attach 2 on this side and 2 on this side over here. Before we attach them though, we want to wipe down that surface with rubbing alcohol. So I've got an alcohol prep pad. I'll pull that out. Wipe down this surface here. And also here. All right, next we can go ahead and peel away the vinyl backing to expose the adhesive. All right, now we can go ahead and put that in place. Now it's going to fit perfectly right inside the groove. So get it fit in there and push down with some good force. Do the same with the second one on the second row. Try not to touch the adhesive with your fingers. All right, and repeat the same for the opposite side. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.